and welcome back to Stranded Deep, welcome back to the map editor, and welcome back to this island we are making. We are on the PC version of the game, the Steam version of the game, and for everyone who's new, the controls are W to go forward, S to go back, A to go left, D to go right, Q to go down, E to go up. You push and hold the right mouse button and that pans the camera around. You can do some extra funky things with the mouse if you want. The mouse wheel does in fact zoom you in and out, but I don't think you need that with W and S being at your fingertip. Also, if you push and hold the mouse wheel, that kind of pans everything around as well. But again, WSA and D and the right mouse button pretty much take care of everything. But wait, there's more. There's always more. If you bring out the aeroplane, we have R to rotate, T to transform, C to copy. We have delete to delete. And if you click on something and hit F, that focuses. If you hit something smaller and hit F, that focuses closer. It's done on the size of the object. Speaking of a bunch of objects stacked up next to each other, the camera has no constant velocity. It slows down the closer you are to objects. A bunch of objects stacked up means that, yeah, the camera just kind of skips and jutters around, does all manner of weird things. Is there a way of fixing that? No. Will they ever fix it? No, because as I record, the last video that I put out, the very last video that I put out was on the announcement of Stranded Deep 2. Yep, they are going to be making a Stranded Deep 2, and this time instead of 2 people, they're going to have a team of people making the game. Don't know what it's going to look like. There's no ETA, there's no nothing on the game. There's not a screenshot or concept art or anything out there. But for the time being, we can carry on working on this game and using the wonderful, wonderful map editor. There are a few other things like the terrain brushes. If you are going around using smooth height with the amount slider cranked all the way up, and then you switch over to the raise and lower, forget that the mount slider is inherited between all of these objects, and then left click, you will have a spike of land all the way up to Deep Space Nine. Do not do that. Remember to crank the mount slider down when you're done with the brush, and also save often. There is no undo. Speaking of no undo, we did a bunch of stuff last time. So we put these groins in last time, and what does that do? It breaks the beach up. It was just a big old curve, and it didn't look very realistic, not very natural. Groins are to stop drift, longitudinal drift of sediment and sand across a beach. You tend to find them in Victorian and Edwardian beaches where you have long promenades. But what we also did is we worked on the aeroplane. The aeroplane here now has a bit of a story. It had scraped the beach as it is landed. And it was a bit of a rough landing, but as we can see, there is now a dip in the sand. There's some rocks. The trees are, some of them are actually pushed outwards. Drumbones was saying, "Ooh, where is the aeroplane's wing?" Well, I purposefully put that in the ground in order to lower the profile of the aeroplane. It's fine having it there, but I didn't want it taking up too much land. Well, we can add a broken wing somewhere. So we have the nacelles, we have the port and starboard nacelles. The propellers are wonderfully messed up, but if we want to add a little bit of extra story, this groin here is smashed. It's moved out of the way. It's not in the same position as the other ones. It uses the same material, and the rocks underneath it have been moved, But what we can do is bring out another aeroplane, and then we can hit R to rotate, and then we can sort of pull it up in the air and then transform it down into the ground. How far are we willing to go? I mean, how far do you want to go? That is a question. Now, we know we need to have it in the ground far enough for the nacelle not to show, but also we need it down far enough so that none of things like the tail plane or the tail fins are showing either. I'm gonna rotate it around just a little bit. There we go. And then we've lost control of it. But it's underground! How do we select it? That is an excellent question. We're gonna have to go onto the map, and it's gonna get a little spooky. Oh, there we go. Grabbed it again. It doesn't look too spooky actually. It's not too bad. Where there's lots of objects in an area behind the camera, what can happen is when you let go, it just selects a different object. It's annoying. Is it though? Yeah, I know it really is. It's kind of not great. I'll move it down there a bit. Down the beach. Yeah, there we go. I just want the wing tip. Just the tip? Just the tip. And now it's moved again. But, oh, let's go underground. Let's go underground and grab ya. Okay, and then move you up a little bit. There we go. You can just push the camera into the sand. Yep, you can absolutely do that. Now I want it in a specific orientation. There we go. I'm looking at over here in the distance, even though the rotation point is in the middle of the aeroplane. Okay, cool. Well, now that kind of looks like the aeroplane has a very long wing. So what I'll do is I'll move that here, like that. And then cant it in such a direction that it's not going to... Okay, it's seemingly forgiving at the moment. And it's like, it's jumped onto something else. Okay, fine. Now that doesn't look like the aeroplane now has a very long wing. We've got to be very careful about that sort of thing. But it does look like the wing is here and it's been smashed off, either sheared off on the tree or these rocks or something. Something has happened to it. Wonderful, but wait, it's kind of at a weird angle. It's just there. It hasn't had an effect on the world. The world? Well, we're going to crank the amount slider slightly up, use raise and lower to change the size down. We're using the soft brush, and I'm just going to... yeah, should we raise it along here? I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that just in here, and then lower it on the other side. But why? Why would you do this? Because it's had an effect on the world. And that's an effect of weathering. Weathering can be either water, or it can be through wind. There we go. I'm going to grab some stuff. Now, we could throw in a rock. Rocks? Yeah, rocks are pretty good. Gonna be honest. Why don't we throw a rock underneath there? But I'm gonna have a little butt. Just a butt. Swing that over. Back on itself. T. Just make sure it's not clipping through. It is. Let's move that there. So I just want it so it's just kissing the the aluminium or duralumin. There we go. Stressed aluminium skin probably rather than duralumin, which is probably the actual airframe itself. What? How do you know these things? Oh, I know many things. There we go. So that is now effectively pressed up against that, but it's not clipping through. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, good. What I'm going to do is hit up trees. Cocoa plant in it. Cocoa bush? Yeah, you're going to get that big old bush. Right, let's grab this and move it around. Okay, well, let's move this like this and like this. Good. Good. Wonderful, wonderful. I just like the difference in colours. A little bit of shrub showing through. It's not a problem. Not a problem. Let's move that down a little bit. Good. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So we got the wing there. Ah, it's snapped off, has it? Yes, it has. But now we have this little vignette. Little post-accident vignette. I think we got to do something with this. And since we got the end of the forest here, the forest is fine. And I'm quite enjoying what we have. We have got a little broken bridge with the posts indicating that there is a path there, another path up here, and it's looking pretty good. Pathway down and then a pathway up. But what we don't have is a continuation of the forest. It's fine, but I think pine trees are great. I think we're going to need some ficus going on. Ficus action. Ficus tree 2. Yep, you know it. And it's going to try... It'll try and just stick to whatever you... whatever surface it touches when you first bring it out. If I let go, then we get the toggles. Alright, so I'm going to put it here. Blip. Why would you do that? Well, you see this thing and you're going to try and run up on it, right? That's just something players are going to try and do. Run up the leading edge of the wing. Why would you not do that? That's a good question. I'm going to move that slightly further down so it's definitely in the ground. Got to make a note of the trunk. Is it in the ground? Well, there, no. You got a big old gap. Here, definitely. So let's do that. It's canted over quite nicely, in fact, and we have a little bit of branch action going over the beach. Move it up slightly higher. Hit terrain object so we don't have anything selected. And then we are going to grab Mr. Door, because we know Mr. Door is the height of the player, or at least the player needs to go through a doorway. If Mr. Door can get through there, the player can get through there, and it can absolutely do that. We can also check the size and scale of things. How big is this wing compared to a player? Actually, it would block a player's vision. So about here, I guess. Let's get rid of the door. So yeah, you'll be looking at it kind of like this. Nice. Now there are some things that we can't control. There's a bit of sand here. It's meant to be on the ocean floor. It's covered in coral and barnacles and marine growth. But apart from that, it's fine. I don't want to do too much with this. I think we can probably put in like an alocasia or something. So if we bring up trees again, alocasia, yeah, we can do that. I want to keep that nice clean leading edge. Maybe we put a smaller one or a salmon 2. Just coming out of that broken flap there. That'd be quite nice, in fact. Just a little bit of plant interest. Let's rotate that so the leaves aren't too egregiously poking into geometry. Dip-a-doo, dip-a-doo-ba-doo. Right, cool. Not too egregiously. Ooh. Oh. Is there a better way to... I mean, not to rotate it, but is there a better position? Or we could just put it in so far that it just eats some of the leaves. I think I might end up doing that. You know what? That'll do. That'll do, pig. That'll do. There we go. It's just a little bit of green and it breaks up the geometry. Does it? Yeah. It just breaks up the geometry with something interesting, but it leaves this leading edge for a player to go, I want to run up on top of this and stand here and then stare out to sea to see if I can see sharks or the Mary Celeste or something. Ooh, tailplane, but we can't see the whole aeroplane because the tree's in the way. Did you plan that? Yeah, I love putting trees in the front of something. It means the player has to come and explore. But there we go. The story has been told. You got a broken wing here. This wing is buried in the dirt. You're like, oh, where is it? It's over here. But this isn't actually a wing. We know, because we're creating this thing, it's an aeroplane. There's 2 aeroplanes, but the player can't get to this one, so they don't get the treasure on board, and they don't get too much loot. I'm quite happy with not giving the player too much in the way of treasure, which is why we have over here the top of the cargo ship. Because it looks interesting, but we don't give them the entire cargo ship because I don't want to give them too much treasure. You've got a boat, just puddle around on that. And then, I mean, most people will probably use this island as either something to explore or, I should imagine, a home island, something to build a base on. Speaking of building a base, I think leaving this beach a little bit open, you can build a house here. But I'm kind of curious about these 2 bits here, just at the end. The island peninsulas. Well, if we look at it from above, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 islands, 6 islands. 1, 2, 3, 4, and these 2 are separate. Yeah, 5 and then 6 at the bottom. That's fine. This one at the top isn't really an island because it's just a bit of rock. But if you look at the topography, if you look at it in the cartographer, it does look like a bunch of zebra stripes. Or if you happen to be American, zebra stripes. But it's really a zebra. But what are we going to do here? Well, we've already answered that question. We have this motif going on with these groins. We have a motif going on with things like these walkways. We have a little jetty out there. Why don't we do something like that here? Just here. Now, I don't want to foul this area up, this side of the cave entrance, because you're going to need to navigate boats in there. Rafts, boats, what have you. But we can do something here because this is really... I mean, people will still try and navigate this with a raft. I'm pretty sure people are going to try and do that, but it's less critical to our design of the island. So what we're going to do is grab something here, structures. Yes, you could put through the... What was any of that? It's been a long day. I don't need it all the way into the world. But wait, there's more. Yeah, well, this is going to be a jetty, like we've done before. But we have these groins here. And the groins tell a story. They are stopping the longitudinal drift of sediment. So if we put something in and it doesn't affect the sand, that's going to look pretty silly. Oh. Alright. Now let's raise this up. Just a little bit. I'm going to hit R to rotate. Just a little bit like that. It's hopped onto something in the background. Got to be a little bit careful of that. It just happens when you let go. It does stuff like that. Now I'm going to be a little bit careful here. I'm going to go to terrain, hit the cog, and change the time of day because I want to check the tide. We've got low tide. Low tide. You can see all the way through. High tide. About there. You can barely. That is just giving. That is giving the bottom of the walkway a little kiss, just a little kiss. There are tides in the game, and it is done on time of day. So there we go. You can see all the way through, and then high tide, you're underwater. It's not a lot, I grant you, but it definitely is there. Might move it up. Might move it up just a little bit. Just a little bit, just to give us a little bit of extra clearance, because things you put in the map editor don't always translate into stuff that's happening in game. Now we have very specific criteria for the way these groins are created. Also, this is just coming straight out of the beach. Why don't we move this over slightly and give it a rotate? Okay. And this is specifically for a player to walk on. Oh, but wait, what's there? Oh, don't mind that. That's just the abyss. Yeah, well, okay. I mean, if you go beyond the groins or the jetty, you're going to be pretty much in deep water. Rocks! I need them. I know. Why don't we turn the... terrain. Why don't we turn the ocean off? But wait, the shadows are no longer anchored to anything. Oh no, that's a problem. Well, anyone who's been here before knows that we need to praise the sun, and then the shadows will be fine. Shadows are fine. Shadows are now locked to what they need to be locked to. Are there bugs in Stranded Deep? You better believe it. And if you don't believe it, you should believe it. I'm going to grab some of these rocks, just to do a little clone and move it over. It's a copy, not a clone. Well, yes, I know. What's the difference? One involves a sheep, and the other one involves Control C. What are you talking about? That, detective, is the right question. Why do you keep saying that? Oh, it's for my robot. It's James Cromwell from my robot. Is it? Yep. Okay. It was a script. So iRobot was a script that was put together and nobody was buying it in Hollywood until they changed the name to iRobot. And at that point it was picked up and turned into a Will Smith film. Oh, right. Yeah. So I wanted these two types of rocks because that's what we've used on these ones. Just rotate them around to make them fit, but this ain't gonna work because we got a bit of a problem here. It's a huge gap with just two rocks, and that one's kind of balanced on top of on top of that, and that's fine. We're gonna stack up the sand here. Let's go to terrain. Let's go to raise and lower. Let's change the amount slider so it's on the stop, and then let's pull it off the stop slightly. Just a little left click just to test it, test the strength of the brush. I think we can go up a little further. That's better. Better. So we're going to do the same thing here, but wait. Not all the way. Really? Yeah, not all the way. So we know how to do this. We brush out and then we use the smooth terrain brush. There we go. So smooth height, crank it up, and then smooth it back. Ooh, that is smooth. I know, right? It is smooth. It's wonderful, wunderbar. Right, well, we got a bit of a problem because that's now very straight, and I don't like that. I need it to be a little bit more, move the mouse slider down. Remember that is going to be a problem. I need it to be a bit more, we got the right brush selected. Yeah, we do. Just push back a little bit more obvious that there is a curve in the terrain here. So let's do that. And smooth it by cranking that back up, the amount back up, and then brushing back. Okay, cool. Excellent. We are going to then go to objects and wait for it, small rock. There's going to be a difference between the groins and the jetty. But wait. No, that's everything I had to say. Yeah, sometimes I do that. You ever start a conversation and then you forget what you're going to say and then you're just like, I don't know, maybe I'm going nuts. So what I'm going to do is raise this up. Good. We'll rotate. Ah, wait, isn't this copying what we've done up there on the pathways? Why, yes it is. It's exactly doing that, because if you have a design language, one of the things the player likes to do is follow that design language around, even though it is something you've taught them. It's a Pavlovian instinct. You see these two pillars standing up. They're little tiny boys, but you see them and it's like, that is something I might need to walk along. All right, cool, excellent. Let's move that in slightly. Cool, excellent. But wait, yes, I know there's more. Let's move that out slightly, just so it's not quite perfect. I don't want it to be perfect. Right, the amount slider is too high up. Crank that down, raise. Oh, raise. Got to raise this up. Cool. Especially on this side. This is very deep and steep here. You can't really see it from this angle, but here we are. It is very deep and steep. I know, right? I ain't perfect. It's not perfect. So I'm just gonna raise this up. When it's underwater like this, you don't really need to smooth it off. You don't? No. For one very good reason. Everything that's underwater here, with the caustics effect, which is the light refracting from the sun through the water, that's going to have a load of coral and stuff on it. I mean, we can smooth this bit, because the player might swim around here, but and this bit here, just because, you know, there we go, better. Objects, go back to rocks, grab some rocks, rocky rocks, the big rocks, small rocks, the rocks that are in between. Now, maybe you want to land a raft here before taking it through the channel. Maybe you want to sort of handle it through the channel because your raft is too big and unwieldy. Oh, maybe that's a thing. Yep, that's definitely a thing. So we need to make it so that you can, in fact, land a raft here. I'm going to copy that. Why would we not? It's underwater. Nobody really is looking down here. And then I will rotate that, so it's not quite the same. T to transform, pull that back, up, and over. Cool, right, let's turn on the water display ocean. Boop. Oh, okay, that's fine. It is, you're walking along here and you're just like, that's deep on one side and not so deep on the other side. This will be full of coral and things. So you go doop, 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 doop. And there's the abyss, but there's also coral and stuff, so you can just run and jump off the end. Fine, not so much of a problem. There is this nice little bit of dirt here though, and a tree over there, so I think what we should do is put something here. You can't help yourself, can you? I can't. Also, yes, there is a bug in the game where we smoothed this beach off. We did make it smooth as possible, and in fact we did the same thing over where the aeroplane is. And now look at it, it's all lumpy bumpy. Why is it lumpy bumpy? That's a bug that was introduced to the PC version of the game in 1.0. I don't know if the console version of the game is the same. I can't test it because I don't have a console that will run the game. The most modern console I have is a Wii, and the most powerful console, I'm looking around the room, is probably a Nintendo Dreamcast. Really? Yeah. It's just a thing, innit? Grab some small rocks. Let's go grab some stuff. I'm just going to throw some stuff down real quick. We can do solid rock here. No, I don't think so. I don't think that's going to work. Small rock though. Let's grab you, rotate you in. I mean, this is a nice little thing here. I think we're going to need to do something more with the woods, but for the time being, this beach desperately needed something doing to it. You as well. Just rotate you around. Let's put a little small rock. Have the trifecta of rocks. Cool. Just a little rotate. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I like the idea of having rocks here, especially next to all of this, which is effectively, well, just a little rocky playground. So it just continues the theme. But speaking of continue the theme, yeah, terrain objects, we don't have anything selected. Go back up, hit up tree. Gonna need something here, probably here and on the other side as well. We're gonna need something. It's gonna be the ficus though. Why the ficus? Why do you love the ficus? Not that one though. Because it can't be chopped down. I think I've said this before, but yeah, there are new people here. You can't chop the ficus down. You can't do anything to it. Now look at that. Immediately, like, oh, empty beach. Oh, an interesting beach. And all of this foliage stops you seeing any LOD issues with these lads in the background. So you're running along the beach. There's like, oh, there's LOD issues over there. Level of detail issues where stuff is far away. But wait, there's more. Yeah, we're going to copy that. Put that back. Hit R to rotate. Rotate it around. Just do this. At some point, what's going to happen is it will. I'm waiting for it to happen and it's not doing it. What are you waiting for it to happen? For it to snap onto something else. Unfortunately, it's not done that, and we have just a world tree. We have the two trees merged together, which gives us something bigger than what we had before. Terrain objects. Alright, cool. Well, we can throw in some other things then. Throw in a little bit of salmon. Do we want... Let's just look at the objects again. Terrain objects, we don't have anything selected. Hit up structures. We have shelters here. We already have one shelter on top up there. We could pop in a shelter. Something that kind of looks interesting. In keeping with the island. That might be a good idea. Ooh, that might be. This does look kind of neat though. Doot. That's kind of, it does look kind of neat. Oh, I do like this. Yeah. Let's move you a little bit out of the way. Boop, 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 and boop. Ah. But can the player get inside it? I'm going to say possibly. I'm going to put this wooden beam on the ground. Yeah, I should be able to crouch into there. We can see the rock behind it. So what I'm going to do is move that slightly away. Okay, cool. So it's just in the shadow of the tree. This can then get rotated around a little bit. So it's just pushing up against the back. Nice. And then it's not clipping through. We've got the Skelly Bob there. These boxes here are physics objects. Kind of. The player can't technically interact with these boxes. These ones here. Once they have explored the island. Once they're on the island. But you can take a physics object and bump these boxes around. Didn't know that? Well, you do now. Anyway, this plant here still functions to add a little bit of greenery to otherwise brown area. And instead of adding a load of rocks here, that means that this here is just kind of a nice little thing. Pathway in, yes. I think what we need to do is add some more plants. Terrain objects. Ah, yes. What about trees? Like, where is it? Where is what? Where is the thing? It's under trees. I was looking for bushes, but yeah, it's under trees. Right. We have palms. We really need to put palms in at some point, but that's like the last thing we would tend to do. I'm just looking at all the options. We got salmon. Salmon 2. And the alocasia. Big alocasia is probably a nice one for here. Let's do that. Put those between that. couple of rocks, drop that down, not egregiously clipping through the rocks themselves. Let's do a little rotate. There we go, nice. And there's something in here as well. Terrain objects. Don't want to really choke this area up with stuff, but it would be nice if we had something here. Aloe vera? I mean, yes, but I think we'll do these other plants later. Alocasia. We really only have Saruman, Alocasia, and the Nana. I think the Nana's pretty good. Okay, let's do that. Down into the ground a little bit, so it's not floating, and then we can just finish this off with a little rock. Little rock action. We'll go down to small rocks and then drag that into here. Why would we do this? That's an excellent question. Glad you asked, in fact. That is just because otherwise this just feels a little empty. But now we have a path that leads to the front door of the survivor structure. Oh, the survivor structure is not, it doesn't exist in the world by itself. It has this tree, it has a bit of shelter, it has these plants, and it has this rock back here, so the boat is actually kind of leaning up against something. It looks, I'm going to be honest, kind of cozy. It does look kind of cozy. Yep, and it's right next to the very end of the land, but don't worry, the sand's not going anywhere because it's held in place by these rocks, and if you want to walk down here, you can. It's a different design jetty to the one we have over the other side, which is much more fallen down, but it also has affected the beach because it has stopped the sand washing out into the channel, and now that allows, because that's there and stopping the sand washing in, it allows us to still be open as this. But like I said, very different to the jetty that's over here, which is effectively similar but kind of smashed. Oh? Yeah, looks like something's happened. It's just kind of falling apart. But good. I'm going to leave it there for the time being. We have done seemingly not much. Jetty, survivor structure, plants, more plants, and the wing of the aeroplane. Yes, the missing wing. Yeah, I think this beach is looking pretty good. We could probably leave it, really. Maybe put some rocks here, some palm trees and stuff, but that's, like I said, the last thing we do is go around adding the palm tree. Which means we don't have too much more to do. The center island could do with some love. This area here could definitely do with some love. Palm trees and plants and physics objects. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there for the time being. If you like these videos, definitely leave a little like. Leave a subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. If you want notifications, dingle the bingle. If you don't want notifications, don't click the bell, and I'll tell you what. I'll catch you next time.